The wedding between James and Sarah was quite grand. The flowers were flown in from abroad, the wedding dress was custom made, and all the accessories were from antique collections. The diamond ring, star crown, was said to have been bought by James for 60 million, just because Emily had liked its picture. But in the end, it was Sarah's.
James, isn't this a bit too extravagant? After all, we are just temporarily teaming up for a show.
No, as your lawful husband, I won't let you be wronged.
The wedding hadn't started yet when the originally noisy front hall suddenly fell silent. Sensing James's tension, Sarah followed his gaze and saw a graceful figure. It was Emily.
James, I'm back. I heard you bought the star crown. Can I see it?
Sarah shook her head in amazement. James's tactic was indeed effective. She tugged at James secretly.
James, we agreed beforehand. No refunds if you change your mind.
Miss Emily, my wife wouldn't be happy about that.
Sarah, can I talk to James for a moment? Please.
Of course, no problem. Go ahead.
All right, my wife will come along too. I don't want her to feel left out.
Emily stiffened, on the verge of tears. Sarah was shocked and looked at James, gritting her teeth.
James, really? I'm part of your play too? This will cost extra.
Olivia, I'm doing this for your reputation.
Standing awkwardly beside James, Sarah pretended not to notice the people glancing their way. Emily stepped forward, tugging at James's sleeve, sniffling pitifully.
James, I'm back. Didn't you say you liked me? Why are you marrying someone else? Don't marry her.
Emily was truly pitiful. Sarah's teeth ached from the sweetness, and she wondered how James could endure this without reacting. The cafe was buzzing with chatter, but our table felt like a world of its own. Emily's eyes were red from tears, and James wore a mask of indifference.
All right, my wife will come along too. I don't want her to feel left out.
Emily stiffened, her eyes welling up. I turned to James, frustration bubbling up inside me.
James, really? I'm part of your plan now? This will cost extra.
Olivia, I'm doing this for your reputation.
I stood awkwardly beside James, pretending not to notice the curious glances from the surrounding tables. Emily stepped forward, tugging at James's sleeve, her voice trembling.
James, I'm back. Didn't you say you liked me? Why are you marrying someone else? Tears streamed down her face. Don't marry her.
She looked genuinely heartbroken. I couldn't understand how James remained so composed. Not long after the wedding, I moved into James's spacious riverside apartment in the CBD, which was like a dream home for me.
Living separately would seem too distant and unrealistic. Plus, having you move in saves on rent and utilities.
It makes perfect sense, and who wouldn't take advantage of a good deal?
Surprisingly, James and I had a compatible daily routine. He would come home at 6:30 p.m. sharp every day to have dinner with me and often brought a bouquet of flowers. If he had unfinished work, he would do it in the living room while I painted by the window. Occasionally, I would glance up and see the play of light and shadow on his refined, handsome profile, like a mesmerizing enchantment.
This arrangement is definitely worth it.
James would even watch me play video games. One time, as I was engrossed in a game on the sofa, a flurry of messages popped up in the bottom left corner of the screen. Why did you delete WeChat? Why did you quit the game and cut off contact? Doesn't 6 months of online dating mean anything? We've been playing together for years. My thoughts drifted. I had known this gaming friend since high school, and we had played together on and off for many years. A year ago, after a falling out with Michael, this friend had kept me company online. We even became a gaming couple and had an online relationship for 6 months. But then Michael started acting erratically, and I changed my phone and WeChat, got busy with a new job and moving, and I forgot about him. So what am I to you? I pondered for a moment. Maybe a digital pet? I didn't dare say it out loud.
Who is he, darling?
James's voice suddenly came from behind me, and I froze. James glanced at Olivia, his expression thoughtful.
All right, my wife will come along too. I don't want her to feel left out.
Emily stiffened, on the verge of tears. Olivia was shocked and looked at James, gritting her teeth.
James, really? I'm part of your play too? This will cost extra.
Olivia, I'm doing this for your reputation.
Standing awkwardly beside James, Olivia pretended not to notice the people glancing their way. Emily stepped forward, tugging at James's sleeve, sniffling pitifully.
John, I'm back. Didn't you say you liked me? Why are you marrying someone else? Tears streamed down her face. Don't marry her.
She was truly pitiful. Olivia's teeth ached from the sweetness, and she wondered how James could endure this without reacting. The reason I now owe a massive debt of $5 million is partly because of her. I once worked as a part-time streamer and signed a contract with a media company that had a hidden betting agreement, which I didn't notice. The company belonged to the Shin family. At first, I didn't know until I saw her clinging to Michael's arm, acting all sweet and affectionate.
Michael, let me tell you, Olivia is so naive.
Michael just smiled indulgently, his expression soft and loving.
As long as you're happy, darling.
Later, Jessica told me.
Do you think I'm targeting you? Michael asked me to do this. I thought he really liked you.
By then, Michael and I were already on bad terms, in a cold war with no contact. Michael had her do this to force me to beg him. At that moment, Jessica was sitting elegantly in the hotel lobby, every strand of her hair perfectly in place. She held a glass and poured the ice and water over the head of the server in front of her.
I asked for hot water, and it wasn't hot enough. I asked for ice water, and it wasn't cold enough. How am I supposed to drink this?
The server trembled, head bowed.
I'm sorry, Miss Shin, I'm sorry. Please don't complain about me.
Her hair dripped with water, her shirt soaked, her face pale as she clutched her hands tightly, repeatedly apologizing. I felt a pang of déjà vu, as if I were seeing my past self, working tirelessly to make ends meet. My body reacted faster than my mind, and I found myself standing in front of her.
Miss Shin, that's enough.
Jessica sneered when she saw me.
Olivia, who do you think you are?
I'm not anyone special, but there are cameras here. Do you want to be trending for the wrong reasons?
I gestured for the server to leave. She gave me a grateful smile, her eyes red.
Are you threatening me? Do you think you can just access the footage?
Jessica crossed her arms, looking me up and down with disdain.
Try complaining about her and see if I can't get the footage.
An actress with two faces, huh? TSK, TSK.
Jessica didn't dare to take the risk, fuming with anger. I didn't want to argue with her, so I turned to leave, but my wrist was suddenly grabbed. It was Michael. Seeing him, Jessica whined.
Michael, she bullied me.
Her eyes reddened instantly as she leaned towards Michael, but he coldly pushed her away.
Keep playing these petty games, and you'll disappear from my sight forever.
Jessica stood there, stunned as if struck by lightning. She had always liked to play these little tricks. This was the first time I saw him not indulge her. I suddenly laughed. So he knew all along. He had been pretending not to understand. Michael's shirt collar was stained with Jessica's lipstick, adding a touch of allure to his otherwise aloof demeanor.
Olivia, it's been a year. Can't you just give in?
I shook off his hand, wiping it with disgust.
Give in to you? Never.
When I turned 18, Grace kicked me out of the family.
Taking you in was just a whim, and the family has responsibly raised you to adulthood. You should understand that some things are not for an orphan like you to aspire to.
I thanked Grace for her care and severed all ties with the family. With the $1 million James gave me, I paid off my debts and returned the remaining $500,000 to the family, settling everything. I had chased after Michael for many years. He never said he liked me, nor did he say he didn't. I thought that even if I had no family, I still had Michael. Until I heard his disdainful words.
Olivia? She's just a plaything. She comes running like a puppy whenever I beckon.
I didn't feel heartbroken, just numb, as many memories flashed by. The first time I met Michael, he clung to Grace's skirt, his dark eyes lighting up when he saw me.
I want her!
On one of Michael's birthdays, people mocked the cheap gift I gave him. He took my hand and led me outside.
I like whatever she gives me. No more birthday party, Olivia, let's go.
I had saved up for a long time, eating countless instant noodles, to buy Michael a decent watch. Yet his friends still ridiculed it as a cheap item. That day, Michael took me to see the sea. In the sea breeze, he blew out the birthday candles. The cake was randomly bought from a roadside stall, but Michael said it was delicious.
I'll buy you another one next time.
I had planned to buy myself a matching watch, but Michael never wore his, so I saved the money. The worst argument we had was because of Jessica. She had a conflict with me, and during the scuffle, my hand got hurt on the table corner, almost preventing me from ever drawing again. In the kitchen, everyone was anxiously checking on Jessica. She cried out in pain, and Michael picked her up, scolding me angrily.
Olivia, how could you be so cruel? Your behavior is disgusting.
No one seemed to notice the blood on my hand. The boy who once protected me was now shielding the person who hurt me. My affection for Michael had been worn away over the years. I had heard rumors, but I didn't care. Hearing Michael's harsh words with my own ears, I suddenly let go. The media was filled with stories of Michael and Jessica's ambiguous relationship. I disappeared from Michael's life. Unexpectedly, he started to lose control. I found it pointless, so I moved, changed my phone number. Occasionally, mutual friends mentioned he wasn't doing well, but I just smiled. Now, standing before me, Michael looked at me with a mix of resentment and desperation.
Without the family, how will you repay the $500,000?
Michael understood, grabbing my chin tightly.
I almost forgot you still have your looks. Coming here now, are you here to serve your benefactor? Olivia, it doesn't matter who supports you, we're still acquaintances.
I swiftly slapped Michael, cutting off his words. My hand tingled, and I shook it lightly.
Why does the young master always speak so harshly? Is it because you have a deep connection with your kind? I'm not interested in being a lapdog, and you shouldn't cling to me like one.
I rarely lost my temper with Michael over the past decade. Hearing my words, he was shocked, his face turning pale.
You heard it wrong, it's not like that.
Whatever it is, it has nothing to do with me anymore. If your words and actions hurt someone, you should bear the consequences. Want things to be like before? Stop dreaming, Michael.
Before I could finish venting, James's voice came from behind me.
Since you know she has a benefactor, aren't you afraid of provoking someone you can't afford to offend, Michael?
James really knows how to take advantage of a situation. He walked over to stand beside Olivia, his expression indifferent, looking like a masterpiece crafted by a meticulous artist.
Michael, don't you think your words were a bit harsh? Shouldn't you apologize?
Though phrased as a question, his tone carried a hint of authority. Michael remained silent, but Jessica, looking flustered at the sight of James, quickly lowered her head and apologized.
I'm sorry, James. I apologize, Olivia. I was out of line.
No matter how powerful the Chu and Shin families were, they couldn't compare to the Song family. She was afraid James might blacklist her, and she couldn't afford to offend the Song family. Olivia glanced at Jessica's grim expression, then at James, feeling a strange sense of satisfaction. Michael sneered quietly.
Olivia, well played.
No, it's all thanks to you and Jessica.
Michael was taken aback, his expression darkening. He didn't apologize.
There are many young members in the Chu family. Michael, you should be careful about maintaining your position.
James left a subtle threat before turning away. Wasting time on Michael's apology was pointless.
James, let's go home.
He took Olivia's hand and turned to leave. She raised an eyebrow, pleased with how he stood up for her. So this is what it feels like to have someone backing you up. Behind them, Michael's voice was hoarse as he called out.
Olivia, don't go with him.
She didn't stop walking. Outside, they found Andrew still waiting for them.
Andrew, didn't you have something urgent to attend to? Why are you still here?
Thank you for the reminder, James. I almost forgot my pet chicken is about to lay eggs. I need to get back.
Olivia didn't understand but was deeply impressed. James leaned against her, and she instinctively supported him, the faint scent of alcohol mixed with wood wafting over, not unpleasant.
The alcohol is getting to me. I'm feeling a bit dizzy.
She didn't say anything. Once in the car, James leaned obediently on her shoulder. He was so close that she felt a bit uncomfortable, her ears growing warm. When Olivia saw the night market stalls receding in the car window, she turned her head to look back. James told the driver to stop and got out of the car before she could ask why. She was still thinking about the grilled squid and cold noodles when they suddenly appeared in front of her. Her heart leaped with joy as James set everything up, handing her the grilled noodles on a skewer. The open box emitted a steaming aroma. She took the skewer, feeling a bit embarrassed.
James.
How
come you're not dizzy anymore?
James was silent for a moment. He rubbed his temples.
Olivia, do you want something to drink?
She nodded enthusiastically, pointing to a distant bubble tea shop.
Buy one, get one free.
He got out of the car again to buy bubble tea. Olivia was overwhelmed with emotion. James was truly a great person.
Ames wanted to visit a Taoist temple and asked if I wanted to join him.
I plan to stay at the Qingqing Mountain Temple for a couple of days. Would you like to come with me?
Is there something you want, James?
Yes, I hope to find the person who played games with me for over 5 years, had an online relationship with me for 6 months, and then disappeared without a trace.
That sounded familiar, but I wasn't sure. I decided to play along.
That's terrible. What a heartless person to deceive you like that. But James, you shouldn't take online relationships too seriously. They're so ephemeral.
James's gaze grew colder, so I quickly added.
But I have a feeling you'll get what you wish for, haha.
Thank you for your kind words.
The morning light fell on the temple's green tiles and red walls, ancient trees winding like jade, and the sound of bells echoing in the distance. We encountered Michael there, who had also come to offer incense and make a wish. Michael knelt on a prayer mat, palms facing up, bowing 3 times with solemn reverence. I was surprised, he had never believed in such things before. As he rose and saw James and me, His expression changed, and he spoke bitterly.
Olivia!
James raised an eyebrow and took my hand. I was startled but didn't pull away.
It's rare for me to visit a temple with my wife, and we run into you, Michael. What a coincidence.
Wife?
After a moment of silence, James asked casually.
Did you come to make a wish, Michael? What are you hoping for?
Michael lowered his gaze, his eyes lingering on our intertwined hands, his tone challenging.
I wish for my beloved to look back at me.
I had no idea what James and Michael had to talk about, so I started counting the bricks on the ground out of boredom.
Ah. You're not supposed to reveal your wishes to others, or they won't come true. My apologies, Michael. But you can draw a fortune stick, Michael. They're very accurate.
James held a mystical fortune stick in his palm.
I drew one for marriage, and it was an excellent fortune. It foretold a perfect match destined for 3 lifetimes.
Really?
But it might not be referring to me. Michael's eyes were like deep pools, his expression stern.
I don't believe in these things.
Then why are you kneeling here?
He pulled me away, smiling calmly, clearly in a good mood.
Michael, you should leave. Without sincerity, your wishes won't come true.
For some reason, I felt a strong sense of mockery in his words.
When did you draw that fortune? I didn't know.
Not this time, it was before our wedding.
James, you're really superstitious.
I wasn't at first. The temple is serene, and I came here for peace of mind. But now I believe.
Why?
James looked at me without speaking. After a while, he said,
Olivia, come with me to fulfill my vow.
Oh, okay.
I gained a bit of fame recently because of a new anime-inspired artwork I created, with James as the model. I drew it secretly while he was working in the living room, adding cute animal ears and a tail. The comments section was flooded with admiration.
Feeling pleased, I stretched and checked my private messages.
Hello, we sincerely invite you to participate in a truth-telling interview show. Please contact us.
Open WeChat to find numerous messages from James, who seemed to have a lot of free time at work. The latest one popped up.
Sophia, I agreed to what you asked. In exchange, can you bring me lunch today?
James had agreed to be my model. I quickly accepted, not giving him a chance to back out. After all, the outfit I wanted him to wear was quite unconventional. I brought a lunchbox to James's company. Andrew told me he was in the meeting room and that I could go straight in. Without thinking much, I knocked on the door.
James, I'm coming in.
James sat there with an air of elegance, like a pine tree after a snowfall. Across the desk was Michael. I nodded slightly at Michael as a greeting.
Sophia, why are you here so early? But it's fine, Michael and I are almost done.
Didn't you tell me to come at this time? James, remember, once you agree, you can't back out. I'll have lunch with you.
Michael's gaze fell on the lunchbox in my hand, and his eyes suddenly reddened. He tore up the contract on the desk, his chest heaving. I was stunned. Was business really this capricious?
Ames sighed softly, his tone resigned.
A deal can be called off just like that. Michael, being alone, can afford to be carefree. Unlike me, who has to be meticulous and cautious, as I need to earn a lot to support my wife.
Michael's eyes, filled with anger, bore into me. He slammed his pen on the desk and stormed out. It felt like there was a ghost in my room. After dinner, I curled up on the sofa to watch a variety show and dozed off. When I woke up, I was in my room. A nightlight emitting a faint warm glow was left on by the bedside. The window was tightly shut, but a cold draft blew through, and the light suddenly went out. The temperature in the room seemed to drop, and a chilling atmosphere filled the air. I yawned and heard a rustling sound.
They want me to scare people, but not too much. It's tough being a ghost for these capitalists.
Oh my, it's this lady! I'm out here!
The room returned to silence. Who's trying to scare me? I thought for a moment and got out of bed to walk outside. James's door was slightly ajar, making a faint noise. I saw him inside, murmuring to himself in disappointment.
This isn't right. Why isn't Sophia sleeping with me tonight? What's wrong with these people? So unreliable.
He lay down and turned over in frustration. I stood outside the door for a moment, then quietly entered James's room. I pretended not to notice his sudden quickened breathing as I lay down beside him. James's bed was very soft, with a faint scent of sandalwood lingering.
James, I had a nightmare. There was a ghost. Can I sleep with you?
I had a good night's sleep. In the darkness, I secretly smiled. James was away on a business trip for a week when Olivia received an invitation to Grace's birthday party. She sighed. After all, Grace had raised her, and it was hard to refuse. Under the grand and luxurious crystal chandelier in the banquet hall, people mingled, holding wine glasses and chatting happily. Olivia, however, felt out of place. She never liked social gatherings. Grace greeted Olivia with her usual indifference, while Jessica stood by her side, holding her arm. Grace spoke to Jessica with a gentle and loving tone. After all, Jessica had always been her favorite choice for a daughter-in-law. Olivia stepped outside to get some fresh air. It turned out Grace had invited her because Michael had asked her to. Michael followed Olivia out, wrapping his arms around her from behind.
Olivia, I was wrong. Please don't leave me. Don't be mad at me.
Annoyed, Olivia threw him over her shoulder, thanks to her part-time job at the martial arts gym. He landed on the ground, his tailored suit now disheveled and messy, his eyes glistening with tears.
Sister, you've changed. Can't you just look at me? Jessica was only to make you jealous. Please don't be angry. Don't be with James. I beg you.
Olivia remained silent.
What's so great about James? Do you really think he likes you? He's just using you as a stand-in for Emily.
Michael's phone screen showed a photo of James and Emily meeting. James seemed to be kneeling at Emily's feet. Olivia clenched her fists at her sides. James had never said his online crush was her, it was just her wishful thinking. What if he had made a mistake? James and Olivia were never in a normal relationship. She thought for a moment and decided to call James to clarify. Michael pulled out a diamond ring from his pocket and knelt before her. He looked like a wolf hiding its sharp fangs and claws, cautiously begging for her love.
Olivia, I love you. How could I not? I'll change everything you don't like. Jessica means nothing. I won't be harsh with you anymore. You promised to stay with me forever. This is the ring you once liked. Let's start over. Will you marry me?
Olivia looked down at the white velvet box in his hand and noticed the watch she had given him on his wrist.
The things I liked before, I don't like anymore. Besides, James bought me a ring worth $60 million. Yours.
It's not good enough. Michael was stunned.
Michael, it's too late. You've changed, and so have I. People need to move forward.
Olivia sighed softly, her voice calm and firm.
I'm already married. My husband is wonderful, and he treats me even better. He's the best person in the world. To me, James is 1,000 times better than you. I love him, and he loves me. Your pointless persistence only makes me feel exhausted.
Michael gave a bitter smile, tears falling. He still held the ring up stubbornly, coaxing softly.
Olivia, I really know I was wrong. Please, stop this.
James's voice came from Olivia's phone. She hadn't realized the call had connected.
So, I'm that good in my wife's eyes. Did Michael graduate from a construction school? He's so good at stealing others' partners.
James's return was sudden. When the doorbell rang, I opened the door to find him looking travel-worn.
Hey, why did you come back so?
I didn't finish my sentence, my body stiffening slightly. As soon as the door closed, James wrapped his arms around me, his fingers threading through my hair, pressing me against the door as he planted urgent kisses on me. One hand rested on my waist, gently caressing. James's breathing was heavy, his eyes filled with a tumultuous emotion as he nuzzled against my face. He buried his head in my neck, holding me tighter, his voice muffled with a hint of grievance.
Work trip almost cost me my home and my wife.
I was a bit dazed by his charm, my face heating up. I turned my head slightly, holding his wrist with the sandalwood bracelet, teasing him.
I thought Mr. James was above such desires.
His Adam's apple bobbed as he lifted his head to kiss me again, mimicking my tone from before.
In my eyes, James is 1,000 times better than you.
Hearing his words made my scalp tingle with embarrassment.
Aren't you the one who wasn't embarrassed? Can't you answer the phone without making a sound? Why were you eavesdropping?
Regarding Emily, James had promised to explain everything when he got home, and today he did. He showed me the photos he had found.
I was picking up a pen, the first gift Sophia gave me. I always carry it with me.
He continued, showing me the photos.
Emily asked to meet me. She told me to divorce you quickly.
James looked at me strangely.
She said I couldn't protect you and that she would take you away.
He smiled, lightly touching my cheek.
My wife is quite charming, attracting both men and women.
Wasn't she your online crush?
What nonsense. He frowned.
Isn't it obvious? It's you, only you. Last time, I saw your game account and asked you what I meant to you.
James tucked a stray lock of hair behind my ear, smiling.
You said I was your virtual pet.
I was speechless. Let me think of a way to explain this.
How did you know it was me?
He had once asked Emily to return the things he had given her, but I had never received anything.
Not receiving them was probably fate, exchanging them for something more precious, you.
He said he had accidentally seen my live stream, noticing the same red birthmark on my hand and some items on my desk that matched what I had sent him. It couldn't be a coincidence.
After following you, I found your voice and personality similar.
And then, the first time I saw you.
The first time I met James was on a rainy day with few people in the supermarket. Who would have thought the famous heir of the song group would shop at a supermarket without bringing money? He stood there, looking lost at the checkout counter, staring at the scattered items in his basket like an abandoned puppy. It was quite pitiful.
I paid for his items, and he stubbornly asked for my contact information.
James said.
You hadn't contacted me for a long time. The day we first met, I found out your WeChat account had been deactivated.
Feeling a bit stifled, I hugged him and whispered.
I'm sorry.
James's smile was warm, his fingers gently intertwining with mine.
No need to apologize. I already have my happy ending.
James had mistaken someone because of a game account. Emily had already finished 5 small plates of cake and was biting her spoon.
You've always used the game account I gave you.
Olivia, the reincarnation of the daughter of the Ghost King, recognized Emily, her mermaid friend from a past life. Olivia used Emily's account when she played games in the underworld. Emily handed Olivia a Buddhist amulet, explaining its origin.
It was something James's mother sincerely prayed for at the temple. Your father confiscated it because he was afraid you'd fall in love too early, so you never received it.
Your father and James's mother play mahjong together all night in the underworld. They're really close.
Then why did you go to see James?
Emily said she originally wanted to reincarnate and continue their love story but ended up being reborn as a girl by mistake.
Being a girl isn't a problem.
Emily got distracted by the allure of the world and arrived late, only to be persuaded by James.
James said he'd introduce me to 5 cute guys a day if I promised not to bother you.
What a scoundrel!
Weren't you in love with Michael for many years? Have you changed your mind?
Olivia saw it as a big misunderstanding.
James is handsome, has a great body, is rich, and treats me well. It's only natural that I changed my mind.
Emily nodded in agreement.
I've handed you over to him. Sister, this retreat of mine is for a lifetime.
Haha, what a scoundrel.
I participated in a truth-telling entertainment talk show. The makeup room backstage wasn't well soundproofed, and I could hear Jessica's hostile voice from the next room.
If Olivia dares to come, I'll ruin her reputation. That vixen, Michael only has eyes for her. He even blocked me.
I heard the sound of a glass shattering on the floor.
What's James's status compared to hers? The Song family values social standing. This is just a fling, it can't be serious. There's no gossip because James must be tired of her.
Social standing? I blinked, thinking about how warmly Grandpa Song treated me. The Song family was lively and friendly, much better than the Chu family. The show began, featuring not only Jessica but also Michael. Each guest wore a state-certified lie detector bracelet, making it a genuine truth-telling show. I failed my challenge smoothly and had to endure a minute of questioning as a penalty. As a moderately famous amateur artist, the other guests' questions were friendly.
I heard Olivia had a debt of $5 million. As an ordinary artist, how did you pay it off? There are rumors online that you were kept by a benefactor. Is that true?
It's true.
The audience gasped.
Not just a benefactor, but my husband.
The screen displayed countless chat logs and call records between James and me, spanning 7 years.
I'm still working hard to pay off the financial debt, but the emotional debt I'll repay to my husband for the rest of my life. James, my true love, forever and always.
After the show, Michael didn't bother me again. I heard he was drowning his sorrows in alcohol every night. Jessica's sharp questions lost her many fans. Her fans fiercely defended her, only to be proven wrong. A surveillance video went viral, clearly showing Jessica arrogantly pouring water over a waitress's head. The waitress obtained the footage and posted it online.
Olivia is a wonderful person. I'll always support you. Thank you for standing up for me.
Jessica's pure and innocent image in the entertainment industry crumbled, and she was widely mocked. Many viewers of the show started shipping James and me.
Did anyone notice that Olivia was wearing a lie detector bracelet when she said those heartfelt words?
Fairy tale romance, my heart is melting. Help, I'm falling in love.
KSWL, it really doesn't matter how you meet. What matters is the person.
The official Weibo of the song group proudly posted our marriage certificate, officially announcing our marriage. The caption was unmistakably written by a certain someone.
Olivia, I love you. The day you appeared was like a kitten finding freeze-dried fish.